Hello. Todd, how are you?
Doing fine. How you doing, Miss Marianne?
I am doing wonderful.
Good.
Hello, Miss Pamela. Oh my gosh, did we just have the most amazing time ever?
Oh my goodness. So amazing.
I can barely hear you, Pamela.
I know it's my voice.
Oh, right, your voice. Okay, forgot about that.
Yeah.
Carrie's here, and Carrie Susan and Priscilla. So you were getting your notes together, Pamela, so you could talk?
I was hoping to.
Sign language?
Yeah, sign language. I'll smile and wave and maybe I'll type.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny when I called you. It felt so bad. Excuse me. All right, I'm just getting settled in here. Who else?
Hi, Marianne. Hi, Pamela.
Hello, Priscilla.
Hi, Priscilla.
How are you?
How are you, my sweetheart? How are you, my
United States. Because guess what?
Okay, somebody mute Todd. Everybody? All right. Who else? Deborah's on there. Deborah, you're sideways. Oh, there you go.
Hi there.
Hello.
Lanny Lou.
Lanny Lou. Lanny's going on the cruise. Woohoo!
Computer. There we go. Now can you hear me?
Hold on, I'll be right back.
Yep, you sound awesome.
Hi, Pamela. You sound better today.
A little bit better every day.
Awesome.
Hi, Lanny.
Hello, Priscilla. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Linda Tyler. Beautiful Linda.
Hello, Linda.
Hi, Lenny.
Tom's gonna be on at the airport, so it's
Awesome.
Hey, Hanny, how are you feeling, sweetheart?
gonna be on.
Hi, I'm good. Thank you. And everyone, how about you? Good?
Getting a little bit better.
Yes, yes.
Hi, Pamela and Lanny and Marianne and Priscilla and everybody.
Hey, Chris.
Good to see you. Hi, Linda.
I see James Earl Moore and Robin Tanner and Michelle Van Etten. Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey. How are you, honey?
Hello.
Good, good, good.
All right, all right. Let me see. Oh, am I still?
Hi. Hey, Marianne.
Hey, who's that?
Michelle.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Here. Oh, see, we just have the best time.
Linda.
So today we're
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, she's at GoPro. Linda, how did she do that little
I'm coming to the next one. I'm coming to the next one.
Yes, you are, girlfriend.
Hey, Peggy.
All right.
Hey, Noah.
We got like a couple more seconds here.
Hey, Noah.
Hello.
All right, so Tom said he's going to be on, but he's at the airport. Hello, Chantel. So he's going to be
Hey,
on
Chantel.
and kind of come in and out, and then we will go from there. All right. Let me see. I'm just checking on Denise. Which they were awesome, by the way. Oh, that's cute. Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Okay, Denise is coming on. Who is that? Who's playing music?
That was my dog.
Oh, that's funny. All right. I'm trying to.
That was my reminder for the Zoom.
Oh, cute. Very cute. All right, we still got some people coming on here. And Denise, if you guys see Denise, let me know.
Good
I see
evening, Miss
Steve and
Lanning.
Dee.
There's Tommy.
There's Tom. I see
Tom, we're gonna get you on now. Hold on, I'm muting everybody. Hold on here. Where'd he go? Oh my gosh. Oh, there he is. Tom, can you hear me it won't let me unmute you. Can you unmute you?
You got me now?
Yes. Now we can
All
hear you.
right, beautiful. All right, good. Oh man, is this fun? Hang on a second. I'm at the airport, getting ready to come home. Thank you, sir, so much. You're a great human being.
You have a great trip home.
I will. Say hi to the world. I will.
To the world.
All right, I'll see you later. Thank you. All right, you guys know my philosophy on Uber drivers. I love them with all my heart. I make friends with them, and it always works out. So that's just another one. And here we go. Marianne, I can't see myself on the screen. I've got a phone. I've got.
We can see you fine.
Okay, beautiful. All right, so here's the deal, you guys. This event was over the top in Las Vegas. But what came out of it more than that was the validation of 65 days in a wake up, the validation of the coffee shop interview, the validation of the contact mapping, the validation of having 7 touch points and using Trello to do that. There is nothing here that isn't absolutely perfect for each and every one of you. But I know that, having it come out of my mouth, I sound like I don't even know what I sound like, a barking chihuahua, because I say it all the time. So now I'm going to turn this over to Marianne and to Denice. And is Adrian on here yet, Marianne?
Yes, Adrian's on.
Okay, why don't you lead off with him?
Okay.
Because it is going to blow everybody's mind. Adrian has not been in network marketing for very long at all, even though he's been in it all his life. He just came aboard as far as really diving into this thing about 80 days ago. And he dove into 65 days in a wake up. He really, really got completely present to the greatness of developing relationships with human beings. He went from there to the next level, which was interviewing these people. And now he just got done with GoPro. And I think I want to start with him. Denice and Marianne will help moderate this, but it's going to be a great time. So say hi, Linda Tyler, and thank you for all you do. I never tell you that enough. You're a little rock star. So Marianne, I'm muting myself right now. Lead it off with Adrian. And as soon as I get through security here, I'll come back and pitch in. You're in my ear the whole time, no matter what. So I'm listening. So don't say anything mean about me. But here we go. I love you guys. Let's roll it, Robin, Tanner. I'm just so happy to see all you people. I love you with all of my heart. Unbelievable. Igor. All right, here we go. Hi, Igor. All right, here we go. Chris Downs. I'm just in love with you people. I could just say your names all day long. So here we go, Marianne. Take it away. Let's fire it up.
All right, Adrian. Oh my gosh.
I'm here.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
there. Oh, good. Yes. Let me pin you really quick.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, good. Hi, everybody. I just had a very successful or unsuccessful dentist appointment, depending on how you think about it. So I am sitting in my car outside my house, but it's good to see all of you. And yeah, GoPro was unbelievable. And I think if you haven't had a chance to watch the replay of the live of Tom and Denise's speech, Lanny shared it and then Tom reshared it on his wall, but make sure you watch that. That was incredibly exciting, and so many of the responses that we got in the room after the presentation were just total reinforcement of how hungry the industry is for this and how excited they are to hear more about what we're doing in the 65 Days in a Wake Up community. And what was so cool was, you heard the speech, but then you heard from a whole host of other industry icons like Tim Sales, like Brian Carruthers, and a whole bunch of other people. And what's so cool about what we are doing with 65 Days in a Wake Up, and what we're doing with contact mapping, and what we're doing with the coffee shop interview, is that none of this is reinventing the wheel. It's just reinforcing what we all know that we should be doing in a more powerful way, and in a easier to understand way, in a way that people really gravitate toward. And so as we shared more about 65 Days in a Wake Up, people were just flipped out. And there's another guy in another company who's asking us to help them set up a 65 Days in a Wake Up for their own company, because they're just so excited about what's going on there. So you saw all these proof points of it. And I think it was Brian Carruthers, but there was one of the leaders up there just said, it's all about finding great ways to follow up authentically over and over and over again. And that's what the coffee shop interview does, right? Is it just gives us all of these touch points where if you have a great conversation, you literally come away with hundreds of data points on that person that make it easy to go, hey, I saw the Seahawks play great last week. I read a book that I thought you'd love. You can barely hear me. That's not good. I will talk louder. Marianne, am I too quiet?
I can hear you okay, so I don't know, maybe can everybody
Okay.
else hear them good? I can hear you okay. Yeah, okay.
Okay, good. All right, perfect. All right, so that's, so it was just, it was unbelievable. And it's just validation that this is working, and you guys are leading, and this is famous in the network marketing community. It already was, and even more so now. So really, really exciting there. And the other thing that was going on is, we had the opportunity to sit down and have one-on-one conversations with a whole bunch of different people in the industry, from all different companies, from all different backgrounds, who do things all different ways. And every time we shared the vision and what you guys are doing and what we're working on, they were just completely floored, completely excited. So I went from a 10 on a scale of 10 to a 20 on a scale of 10 in terms of excitement. And I just think we are going to blow the lid off the industry, you guys, and you are all at the forefront of it. So thank you. And I can't wait to keep doing this all with you.
So Adrian, I just wanted to ask you quick, because this was, you've been in the corporate world for a long time and kind of touched back and forth. Was there anything that just was like way different than what you expected?
I don't think Pitbull ever performed in any of my company functions, so that was a big difference. But it was just across the board. I think that there really was. I was so happy. I had heard all about this ironclad, no recruiting zone, no. You can't wear a company t-shirt. You can't be giving out business cards. You can't do this. You can't do that. And honestly, it felt a little bit like overkill when I was hearing about all that stuff going into it, but it really did. It was just such a great conference, because instead of, even at corporate conferences, everybody just has an agenda, and there's always all these backroom politics and all this junk going on. Mm-hmm. And it really, the focus was just on growing, and people really were, that's where everybody's head was. And it was so intense. There weren't a lot of breaks during the day. It was like 6 hours. I've never been so hungry in my life. That was the other big takeaway. It's like, so you go from like 10 a.m. to like 4 p.m. and then you have lunch at 4 p.m., which is not my style. And then you come back at 6 p.m. and go until like midnight. So it was super intense, but there were no breaks. And at first I thought that was weird, but I think what that really did is it just said, the focus is on helping you guys to grow by putting unbelievable speakers and content on stage, and don't go and be having water cool conversations in the back hallway. And that's what you saw. And everybody really, really latched onto that. So that was awesome. Robin packed snacks, which makes her much smarter than me. I forgot to tell you to pack snacks. I'm sorry. Yeah, I did. My wife packed snacks for my kids, but she didn't send me with any snacks. So I gotta learn my lesson for next year.
Nice. All right, perfect. So Denise, where are you, my friend?
I'm right here.
Okay.
Yeah, so Adrian, thank you. Yeah, I think the major surprise, I'd heard a lot of those speakers. I had not heard Laura Stevens, but everybody else I had you know, I've heard them speak. But the biggest surprise to me was also Pitbull. And, you know, not, of course, he has perfected his art, which is performing on stage and singing and dancing. Man, those Cubans can move their hips. But
we noticed that. We noticed that.
Yeah, hard to not notice that. But the other thing, though, the thing that really blew me away was beforehand, you know, hearing his story was really super inspiring. And not only that, I loved how humble he was, how he connected to the audience, you know, and remember he did that little rap thing at the end, and then he performed, and then he came back after he performed and he said, you know what, I have to make this right because I didn't do that part correctly and I would be holding on to that. And I thought, man, that was like one of the coolest moments for me, because I thought, here he is making millions of dollars, and he made a mistake and he owned it and he cleaned it up, not necessarily for us, but for him, you know, and that was really, really cool. Yeah, Todd said Rod Durdick, that on the front end, you know, at the beginning, I'm like, okay, what are we going to hear from a professional skateboarder, you know? But I took so many notes from him, and Eric doesn't bring anybody on stage who he doesn't think is going to be able to contribute, you know? So I thought start to finish, this was one of the best GoPros ever. I thought the quality of the speakers were amazing. It was tight. You know, they were on time every single time. And, you know, I had 27 pages of notes, Todd said. Yeah, I have 25. And so, you know, it was really, every time I listen from two places, just so you guys know. I listen from the standpoint of what do I need to learn from myself? And then I learn from the standpoint of what do I need to hear so that I can share it? You know, so I'm listening from a teacher and a student perspective, right? And so because of that, I always walk away. No matter who's speaking, I always get something. The greatest compliment I think that I heard all weekend about Tom and I is they said, you know, you guys were amazing on stage and you shared incredible content, but really what we loved most about you two was seeing you interact with everybody and how gracious and patient and loving you were to everybody. And that, I mean, for me, that's what it's all about, because if we weren't, we'd be such hypocrites, especially since we're talking about what our topics were up on stage, right? You know, like if we weren't that way, then it would mean nothing. And so somehow I have a phone. I don't have anybody on my screen. I have just this phone thing.
Or can you see?
Now I can see you, but.
Okay. Well, we're all here.
Okay, I just had a phone, big phone thing. So anyway, yeah, so here's my idea is that why don't we, if everybody, Marianne, why don't we, let's see, Todd, why don't we start with Todd and unmute Todd, and everybody just think about the one big takeaway that you had, bless you, Pamela, I think that was a sneeze. It was muted, but it looked like a sneeze, or it could have been cough. So if you just if you have one thing, if you write, type something in the chat, and we'll sort of start to call on you. And if Marianne could unmute Todd Plexico, and we'll start with Todd real quick.
One thing I got is if you don't have it in your calendar, ain't gonna do it.
That's true. So yeah, absolutely. Use your calendar. Use your calendar and write, make your business mean something, because we always write important things that we don't want to forget on our calendar, but if it's not scheduled, you're not going to do it.
And use your 1 hour or 2 hours a day wisely.
I loved it when Eric shares his, he did this at Beyond Leadership, that 6 or 7 important things in his life, and he talks about time, how time is fleeting, and it's true. And like Tony Robbins says, we often underestimate what we can get done in a year and overestimate what we can get done in a day. Pardon me, I'm going to cough. Thank you, Todd, so much.
Who do you want to go next?
How about Pamela? You're up, dude.
Yes, ma'am. Forgive my voice.
Me too. I'm a little froggy. That's why I'm like, I keep drinking water.
Yeah. And so we were told to go through and take a look at each person that we heard and take away a nugget of what we enjoyed most. And Rob Dyrdek, as Todd was saying, I mean, I've known Rob Dyrdek for a long time because through my kids of watching ridiculousness, okay? And what I found is that he portrayed and had all these people on his show that appeared to be, for lack of a better word, idiots, right? And they were stupid and doing stupid things, and they were laughing like they were stupid. And what I took away from it is that he is an incredibly dedicated and he just has this obsession with success and understanding about what's required to be successful. And the phrase relentless consistency was so beautiful. And I just thought about that, just like, don't ever give up. Don't ever stop. Do the things that energize you in work, life, and health, and to optimize yourself and analyze how you feel every single morning. I thought that was really terrific. Daniel Negreanu, you can only be responsible for the choice you make. And you don't win every day, but have clear intentions and set goals. One of my favorite speakers was Elliot Rowe. Really, he's a hypnotherapist and a performance coach. And the stuff that he talked about that gap of what you're capable of and what you're actually doing and the things that you need to do. And again, he talked about mastering consistency. And there's a lot of things we heard throughout the entire event, like consistency. I saw humility tremendously in their words and their actions. Evaluation. The one thing that Elliot Rowe had said was there's an invisible barrier that you can't explain. What is the resistance and where did it come from? We know we should do it, but don't. And it's old stuff from our childhood. It's about our self-worth, our self-image, fear of failure, self-sabotage, and protecting the ego where we edge God out. What happens if you don't make the call to the prospect? Self-sabotage, identify what it is. Think of the feeling you have and start to think when else you felt that way, like if you were bullied. These can be life-defining moments, but they don't need to be. Work through the root cause rather than giving up and reframe your circumstances. Use failure as a badge of courage for the learning experience to grow better. Oh my gosh, I almost fell over. Every word he said, I was just enthralled with. I got the chills here, and it's not just from my fever, I'll tell you that much. So I'll stop for a second and regain my voice while letting some other people jump in.
That's awesome. Let's go to, let's see. I saw Claire. Can we unmute Claire? There she is. Hello, Claire.
Hello, everyone.
Was this your first GoPro?
No, it's my 5th GoPro.
He is not a virgin GoProer.
Well, I tell you though, it was completely different for me, and in such an incredible way. I have met so many great people from other companies before, but this time I met incredible people from Longevity, and the team spirit was off the charts. It means a lot to me. Never had that before, so yay. And 2 takeaways for me, big takeaway: to put your network marketing business ahead of your other business, even if your other business is paying you more. That's a huge one that will require a big quantum shift in my life. I'm going to have to rearrange some things, but I'm working on that thought process. And then the other one was, this needs to be an obsession, not just a passion. Obsession, you have to give it everything.
Yeah, that's so cool. So, yeah, and it goes back to the primary and secondary focus, right?
Absolutely.
You know, even, and that's why when he talks about, you know, when you have a job, you know, something that is, as you know, putting food on the table, it's hard to make your longevity business your primary focus, because your job is really, you know, it's the 9 to 5 sort of thing where you spend most of your time, most of your energy. But until you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning going, I cannot wait to work on my longevity business, you know, it's really hard for people to put that, their entire focus on energetically on that thing.
Yeah, because he talks about the fact that your subconscious will do what you tell it to do. And so if you're telling it to put food on the table in your other business, then that's what's going to happen, and your network marketing business will not grow.
Yeah.
So you have to tell your subconscious, okay, this is it. This is number 1.
And as far as the longevity team, we had over 100 people there. And you were like a little like Energizer bunny the entire time. It was so awesome, and that's so cool that you said that you were, you know, that you were energized by the team spirit of longevity.
100%. Yeah, yay.
Yeah. Oh, that's so great, Claire. We're so happy to have you part of the family.
Thank you. Me too.
All right, why don't we go to, is Robin, where's Robin? Robin Tanner?
I'm looking for her. Hold on here.
Oh, she's, wait, there she is.
Robin, are you on your phone?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, great.
Do you have a camera? Where's your camera?
My camera is off. You get to see a picture, and that's all you get to see.
Oh, Robin.
All right.
All right. But I do have something to share. First of all, Claire and so many people that I got to meet in person, thank you so much for joining Longevity and creating such energy. It was just amazing to be with all of you. And, you know, I know that I had heard Eric Worre talk about what your dollar value is per hour, you know, and I make a decent dollar value per hour in my business, but I don't make $500 an hour. And when he talked about the thing that actually creates that kind of $500 an hour income is presenting the opportunity to people, that creates $500 an hour income. That helped me. But I would say the greatest thing for me was that it felt like a hypnotherapy session with him. You know, when he had us close our eyes and he took us on this journey of what it was going to be like if we didn't build our business, and then what it was like, you know, to create that income and to create that opportunity for people. And then on top of that, I'm gonna draw a blank here. He asked us to double our income. So, he had us write down what our goal was, and then he said double it. And I went, oh my gosh. So it was fun to check in with different people to see what they had put, what they wanted per month, and then what the doubled, of course, was. So, I mean, it was just an amazing experience all over again, and I can't wait to see the streaming.
That's awesome. Thank you, Robin.
Mm-hmm.
Can we go to, let's see, who would Michelle Van Etten. I saw Michelle here. She's on camera.
Hi.
Hey, Michelle.
How are you?
Awesome. How are you doing?
Pitbull was throwing out some seriously great nuggets. And one of the ones that really I had never heard before is he said, do you believe that the sky's the limit? We say that all the time, right? So the sky's the limit. And he says, no, because there are footprints on the moon. And it made me really think about it and go, okay, look, we actually do put a ceiling on ourselves even when we don't. And then Eric Worre asked us to say how much we wanted to make this year. And of course, I had a crazy, insane goal because I had already doubled it in my head, trying not to play small. So now it is like a over the top, across the board. The ceiling has to be raised. The roof has to come off. I have to be looking for the footsteps on the moon, because that's where I said I wanted to go. So those were a couple of the things that I took away. Another one, something I always tell my team is I don't care about the problem, just find me a solution. So if you're going to come to me with something, I don't want to hear you griping about one thing or another. It's just not fun for me. I want a solution. So I'll say, okay, well, now that you've got like 1 minute, maybe 30 seconds to say what the issue is. Now, what do you think the solution is? How do we solve this? And because of that, I don't usually have the problems, because if you allow the bickering or the problems within your team to start, and you facilitate it by listening, you cause the problem yourself. And that's one of the other things you take away is, if you don't want drama, if you want a drama-free zone, then don't acknowledge the drama is existing. Just find a solution for it and walk on. And there were so many other things. One of the other big, huge things that I took away is 70% are not going to do anything at all. Just like almost 70% will open a book and never read it. They'll never finish it. I don't know about you, but I've finished a lot of books this year. A whole lot. I think I'm on like 70. So those were a few of my takeaways. I have so many more notes. I've got page after page after page. But yeah. And the biggest risk is not taking one.
Cool. That's awesome. Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you.
Lorraine, you're in the dark, but let's go to Lorraine.
I'm sorry, I'm in the dark.
I'm trying
something out at the house. I've got people working on it. They got one end working and the other end not. And I'm in the other end, so I'm a little dark. But my takeaway from GoPro was, Michelle was hitting some things right on for me as far as, 70% of the people are not going to do it. You have to think bigger. You have to treat it like a job. You have to treat it. And I think I've always treated this like a job. I've always taken it very seriously. But I allow people who don't play it like a job to take up a lot of my time. So putting it on a calendar is totally what I've done. And I've not got to some people that text me, need me, and I hate that. But some of the things that he said, you've got to plan your day or your day will plan, you. And so that's what I took away from something he said. But put everything on a calendar. So I'm focused on me, my health, so that I can help other people. And so that's been a priority of mine, is to come home, decide what's going to work, what's not been working. That's one of the biggest problems that I took away from not just the stage, but from interacting with other people, because that's another big thing that I love to do when I go to these events, is build relationships with other professional people, because you have to surround yourself with people that are above you so that you can climb that ladder, right? So we go to our conventions And we're leaders out in the field, some of us not as big as others, but we have to be fed too. So meeting other leaders, people that come off of that stage, and just getting a few nuggets, down in the audience is a very powerful thing, and watching how other people do it and just getting that love and experience back. And so I need to get more people there. They talked about how many people, how it would increase your income if you get people there. So watching it live streaming and watching it from, talking to us here just does not give the event justice. So getting there is essential. You need to go ahead and map it out, place your, make yourself an account like you do for Christmas. For goodness sakes, this could take all of the issues that you're having at home in any area, health, wellness, financially, marriage crisis, this company and everything that we offer. And I heard this more and more and more from people, if people would treat this, pull your big girl panties up, get out there and bust your tail and make it happen, and stop playing it so small. Double what your goal is and climb a little higher than you give yourself permission. But I think we all lack a little self-confidence. And so put that energy in your pocket every morning, and don't let anything get you off track. If someone starts drama, like Michelle said, you just have to not acknowledge it. You didn't create it. She and I were sitting at a table and we started laughing about that and said, not my circus, not my monkeys. So you just have to stay focused. And that is where I get so off focus with 4 kids and 5 grandchildren and a husband that loves me and knows what I do, but he doesn't understand network marketing, or he does and just pretends he doesn't. So my thing is, I can't let their crisis become my crisis. I have a job to do, and it's to go out and save and build a legacy for my family. And that's what I took away from that event. And that's what I'm going to share with my leaders from that event after Thanksgiving. And there was so much more, like everybody else. I took so many notes, my fingers hurt. I used to just take photos of the screen, but what I realized, I would come home and I couldn't patch that screen photo to what I really took away from there. So taking the notes is vital. And I did take that, got that away from the mompreneur that was on the stage. You have to take notes and then match and make a notation about the photo. So that was it. Sorry I went so long.
That's awesome, Lorraine. You're adorable. So it was so funny because she's like, I have to do this speech. Can you help me with, my speaking? I'm sitting here listening to her going, okay, I don't think you need any help. Like, just do that. Just do that. You'll be fine. Okay, let's see. Chantel was right here, and then we'll go to James after Chantel. Not yet, not yet. Hold on. There you go.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Okay, cool. So a couple of things that I just loved was excellence. It came up all the time. People that were speaking from the stage, they talked about the excellence it requires to be professional, to be the top in their company. And it just reminded me of how much I wanted to bring back that excellence in my own life and in my own business. And I also really loved how it said, do what gives you energy and build there. And I know for me, events always give me energy. I love that whole environment. So it was a good reminder that is an area I want to focus on in building my business and my team. And then the last one was build in seasons. So they're like 90-day bursts, and you're building recruiting in that period of time, and then your deep dive training and following that. So that was helpful for me because I do like to have bursts, but I like variety. So then I would go on to training and then go on to building again. So those were a couple of them. And the last one was that I just had some quality time with leaders. Special shout out to Michelle. Had some really, really powerful conversations and insights into why I would be doing this. And I'm really grateful. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We are so happy you're here.
Love you, girl.
It's so cool how, there's so many people that either were new to network marketing or new to longevity, and they, took the risk and came and joined us. And there really is such a shift in vision and belief after something like this. Write down this date, December 4th through 6th is the next GoPro Recruiting Mastery, and it will be held, thank you, Lord, at the MGM Grand. It won't be at the Convention Center. And so that'll be awesome. I don't think he announced any bigwigs that are going to be there, but I think that what I love about that
is one of the keynotes.
What's that?
Magic Johnson is one of the keynotes.
Oh, really? I didn't hear that.
That's good. I thought they were keeping it hush hush.
They put it on a huge screen, so it was not hush.
Yeah, I heard it too. They did a whole thing on it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, good. So, so MGM Grand, December 4th through 6th. And what I love about this date is that it will propel your 2019 into the stratosphere, right? So you're going to come back, you're going to meet with your teams and be able to totally launch into the next year. So put that on your calendar like everybody is telling you to, and make it happen. And we had some unbelievable unreasonableness going on where people, Chantel drove. Okay, so let me just say, you go to the airport, right? Your flight is canceled. You're waiting around, and you just say, Tom, you gotta move. Tom, you gotta mute. And so she's like, nothing like telling your husband he's got to mute. So she goes to the airport. Her flight's canceled. She's waiting around. She goes, screw it. I'm going to drive to Vegas. She got in her car and drove. And she said it was the best well-spent time with herself. And that's what you call not being unreasonable. So that was awesome. I promised James that we'll go to James, unless, Tom, do you shake your head if you want to say something, yes or no? Yes, he does. All right.
Yeah. So here's the deal. The Ladies GoPro is the next event. And
Yes.
it will also be epic. And then you want to go to it, and we are going to give you a ticket to the Ladies GoPro, as well as, so everybody that wins 65 and wake up going through here, we're going to put another contest in for the graduates, and we're going to get every one of you people that are doing 2 interviews a day and 1 3-way call. You guys get the Ladies GoPro ticket. So we're going to build toward this. We're going to build toward the ANMP. We are going to keep you guys immersed in hanging around with huge network marketers. And somebody told me that.
Oh. We can't hear you, Tom.
You got me now?
Yeah. Somebody told you
Okay.
what?
Somebody told me that they thought the speaker stage at GoPro was something that was a pay for play. So in other words, you had to pay to be a speaker there. And nothing could be farther than the truth. Denice and I bought 100 tickets, which was obviously a lot of money. But that accounted for, and there were 9 speakers. So that would have only accounted for 900 tickets of the 10,000 or so that were sold. So make no mistake. They do the best speakers that they can put on that stage to make it the most epic event ever. And you can't buy your way to a microphone there. So whoever said that, I want you to know, I want to disappear that conversation with you 1,000%, because this event is something that is going to make you, I'm telling you, I think I want Denice to talk about 15 years ago. We were in longevity, and we were at the top. We were the best ones in longevity, and we did not know there was another world out there. And when we finally figured out that there was another world out there and people were making tons of money, we realized we could make a ton more. We could do a ton more and make a bigger difference in people's lives. And what you're going to get out of that, and I know everybody that was at GoPro will tell you, they realize there's no lid on the potential that they are and the responsibility they have to this planet. And so all I want to say to you guys is get there. Get there no matter what. Not for us. We don't make any money off of it. There's no gain for us whatsoever other than you guys having a better life, which is what we are committed to. And longevity was so well represented there. And it's so obvious to Denise and I that we are in the only company, not the best company, the only company. And these verticals of ours are absolute genius. And everybody is looking at us now, and you guys are the pioneers. So stay with it. And I love all you guys. I'm going to mute myself again. I just wanted to interject that every one of you can go to the Ladies Go Pro with us, and that would be fantastic.
Thanks, honey. All right, so now we will go to James.
Yep. I muted myself. Can you hear me?
Gotcha.
Okay. So Pitbull stated, short steps, long vision. Thought that was remarkable. He also mentioned the biggest room in the world, the room for improvement.
Yeah.
And Tim Sales stated that if you tolerate lateness, it becomes the norm, and you have to train until they can't do it wrong. So that's what I got.
Tim Sales did an incredible job, and you guys know him from his CD, Brilliant Compensation, which is, if you haven't heard it, you should hear it, because it's a really great tool to be able to share this profession with other people. You know, talk about, you look at him, and he is diligent. You know, he was a special ops with the Navy, deep sea something or other. And deep sea what, James?
Demolition.
Yeah, so that was crazy. But, you know, he applies that same sort of just focus to his business. And I thought he did. That was, I think I might have heard him at maybe the Mastermind, but that was really the first time that I really heard him. So I thought he did a great job. Thank you, James. Let's see, who else is, who else did I see here? Let me run across. Pamela, you want to go back?
Yeah, I want to just add to that about Tim Sales. What was really great is when he was talking, he said, I disagree with Eric Worre. This is not hard. He goes, you think this is hard? And when he talked about his time as a Navy SEAL, 250 feet deep and disarming a bomb. But what was really cool is that he talked about the basic unit that was required in the SEAL team. There was a fire team leader, and there were 4 shooters under him. And those 4 shooters, the only thing they needed to do was shoot. And the fire team leader, what they needed to do was they need to know how to shoot as well. And so in network marketing, you have a network marketing leader and 4 representatives under them. And all they need to do is be able to get out there and share the product. And the same thing with the network marketing leader. And I thought it was really, really cool when he said that, he says, this is not hard. He goes, you think this is hard, think again. That if you just apply this and do the right things, then it really is an easy system to follow. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you, Pamela. I just glanced down at my notes, and you know, if you look at when he shares the stats, that 70% of the people that you bring in will never enroll anybody. And then Eric said, how many people could you hire if you offered to pay $1,000 a week to do presentations? And how many presentations would you require them to do? And that was just so great, because, you know, people are like, would you require them to do 5 a day, 10 a day, 20 a day? If they're spending 30 minutes doing a presentation, and you know, if you were paying you to go do presentations, how many would you do a day? And really, most everybody was like 20 a day. And so, you know, then you look at the stat where 70% of people don't do anything. Hey, Peggy Gleason, let's go to Peggy.
Oh, there she is. Hold on. Okay, there you go.
Here I am. Oh gosh, I'm so still, my head is still trying to come down to earth. I don't think I want it to. I've kept Tony Robbins in my car since then because I have all his CDs from years ago. So I've gotten that extra boost. But one of the things that really I thought was wonderful to hear, because we all know it, but we don't do it, is be aware of your avoidance behaviors. What do you do that pulls you away from doing your business? And to me, that was fabulous, a great reminder. Think about the hours people watch TV or do meaningless things, really, things that, every 15-minute chunks. The other part was when they talked about you don't have to do everything at one time. You can do 15-minute increments. And for 10 hours a week, it's only 40 increments, and you break that up over 7 days. It's not that much, So, but being aware again of what's robbing you of your success. And I think when we're making lists and getting ready to get ready, and the stuff we think is business that really isn't. Looking at your back office at least 25 times a day is not income producing, right? And everyone is guilty of it. We always check and see what's going on, but and preparing. But we're really those are the robbers. They're taking away from our own success. So that was interesting. I loved that, and to. Again, so many people talked about this. Lorene mentioned it, but the fastest way to get an income is to get people to those events, and that was absolutely wonderful. And they said every time you miss a company, when you miss a company event, it brings you back 2 years, and that just was a real eye opener. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I love events. I think they're fun, but it's true. And I have seen people that I had been in business with in the past stop going to events, and guess what? They disappeared. They're not with us anymore. So I know this to be true myself just from witnessing it. And being a tough boss, be your own boss, hire yourself, employ yourself, but be a tough boss and do what you would expect others to do. And that was basically recapping what someone just said about how many presentations, which was great. The last and final thing I want to mention that I thought was brilliant was, and we experienced it when Tony Robbins was there. I don't know about anybody else, but I felt like I got the best workout over those 3 hours and 20 minutes or whatever it was. Oh my God. I was huffing and puffing at one point. I said, oh my goodness. But it is so true when I reflected back, the days I get up and I go out for, a 4-mile walk or whatever, a brisk walk, those are my best days. There is no fear on those days. The days I don't, all of a sudden my mood is not quite, I think it just gives me confidence and makes me feel good. So those were my greatest takeaways. And of course, there's pages and pages more, but thank you.
Thank you, Peggy. Sorry, I couldn't find my unmute button. Yeah, all that was so great. And you're right. I mean, as far as our company convention, I would say if you're crazy if you don't buy your ticket and a ticket for somebody else on your team, and enroll somebody to go with you, make it a buddy thing, or even buy 5 tickets or 10 tickets. So yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much. And let's see, who else should we? Oh, I saw Dee. Why don't we go to Dee? Dee was sitting there, and then Where'd she go? Hello, Dee. There's so many people, it's hard to scroll.
I know, I'm looking. And then
I got it.
Okay.
So I would like to, first of all, thank Denise and Tom for getting us there, because when I saw the people who are making six figures a year stand up, and when I saw people who are, making $1 million a year in this industry, it was like, wow, okay, what's the common denominator? And the common denominator is consistency, and we have the same vehicle. And so my belief went out of the world. The other moment that I will never forget is Eric Worre, when he was walking through the audience. He got to our row, and I was sitting right on the end, and he looked straight in my eyes, and this is what he said. It's work, and it's worth it. The work is worth it. Most people aren't willing to work without a rigid structure. Think like an entrepreneur. Okay, so he was looking in my eyes, and it's like, you know what? He is so right. It is so worth it, and I am going to work like it's worth it, because I wasn't putting in the effort. I was treating this more like a hobby, or I'll get around to it. And it was kind of like not even an employee attitude. It was more like, oh, I'll get to it attitude, almost like I was fixing to do it, but not really serious. And I feel really convicted that that's the way I was looking at it, and where I could be after 4 years had I started and finished with the same energy, and realized that that was the key. My energy has been very low, and so it doesn't matter how consistent you are, even if your energy's low. So I'm working on energy, although I'd really like my voice back.
You can hear all of us are a little froggy.
Yeah, and Steve's here, and he wants to share next, if that's okay.
Yeah. Tell him to put his cute little face up here.
Oh, I'll just have him pop over. Love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you,
Step
Dee.
into the hot seat, Steve.
Welcome to the hot seat.
Hello, hot seat.
Hello, Denise. So I took 32 pages of notes. I don't know how everyone else did, but
well,
it's always a competition.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
52.
You had Sophie at 52, so she won.
One upper.
Yeah. So I was delighted to be at GoPro. Those of you that were there in Vegas as well didn't see me the whole time because I injured myself on the first day, and so I had to do some of the GoPro from the hotel room, which was okay, but I'm recovering, but I still got a lot out of it. One of the speakers that I was really looking forward to seeing for the first time was Brendan Bouchard, and when we got home, Dee and I both took our notes separately and began looking through them and starring the most important points and circling them and so on. And when I got to Brendan's part, which was the 6 habits of high performers, one of the first things he said was habit number 1 is seek clarity. And the question he asks all of us is, what 5 skills do you need to work on? And be clear. So that's where you seek clarity, is by putting those 5 skills down. So I thought the best place to do that would be to go to GoPro, the book, because I know that there's 7 skills, right?
Yep.
Denise, each on those. And so I identified 5 of those 7 skills that 2 of which I do pretty well, but 5 of them I need to work on. And so they are inviting prospects to understand the longevity opportunity, following up, which we're getting a lot better at, right, Dee?
Yep.
The third one is helping the prospect become a distributor. The fourth, helping new distributors get started. And the fifth, grow your team by promoting events. So that was really good to be clear about exactly what skills I need to work on. And then when he got to habit 4 about increasing productivity, he said this: high performers win the morning. To ask yourself this question: what must I do? What is the main thing I need to get done to become prolific in my industry? And if we started every morning answering that question, we're going to get somewhere. And then habit 5 on developing influence, I noted the way you challenge your people to be better versions of themselves. That is the definition of influence. So we're not really influencers until we challenge our people to be better versions of themselves. So that was one of my favorite things was Brendan, and I just got his book. Did it come?
Not yet.
Okay, so I just ordered his book, High Performance Habits. So that's coming. That'll be my next great read. So, and then of course, the reason I really wanted to go is Tony Robbins, because Tony has totally affected my life in great ways over the last 2.5 decades. So I've seen him live once before, about 20 years ago. And so to see him live again was really a joy for me. And I love that quote that he said, which was, do more for others than anyone else, and you will create an identity. So I want to be that kind of person who does more for others than anyone else. Thanks, Steve.
Awesome. Thank you, Steve. So we're rounding the corner to an hour. Why don't we, if anybody has a burning desire, Mary, oh, I'm sorry. Marianne, why don't you unmute yourself?
Well, first I want to thank everybody. We had so much fun. It was such an amazing group. And, Claire and Robin and Pamela, all you guys shared so many nuggets that it was just interesting because some of the things that you wrote down, I was like, oh, I wrote that down. One of my big takeaways is that you have to lead yourself before you can lead others. And I think a lot of times that, shifting from building like that to leading, there's a huge learning curve. At least there was for me. I don't know what's going on with my hair today. It looks kind of weird. But anyway, I should have my hat on like
Chantel
does. She's got the bling hat. But anyway, so that was one of the things, that just for me, and Denise and I, actually, we were at Eric Worre's thing, which was so fabulous, and I was so excited and grateful and appreciative of you guys letting me tag along. But what I thought was interesting is that one guy that was talking to us, and he said, as soon as I got a team, I went into management mode. And I found myself doing that as well. And so you have to be building, you have to be if you're showing your team that you're managing, then guess what? They're going to be managing. And so we have to show our team that we're leading, so that they understand what it looks like to be a leader, because we're, we're the ones, right? What they're emulating is what we're doing. And so the other thing is, and I just loved Pitbull. He was so great. There were so many other things. Most of you guys mentioned the same things that I had written down. But, a few things that he said was, the biggest risk you can take is not to take one. And I think about so many people, and even myself, when I was introduced to network marketing a long, long time ago, probably who knows how many times before I actually took the risk, right, and jumped into it. And the other thing that he said is stay humble, stay focused, and love the fight, right? And, you know, and Sanjeev's has said that before. He's like, you got to just love the journey. You got to love the journey so much that you're just doing it. And it, you know, it instead of, like Michelle was saying, you know, complaining or whatever, it's like something comes up, it's like, I got a solution for that. Let's fix that. Let's move on. And just love the journey, because it's hard for everybody except for Tim Sales, because he worked really, really hard. And when he told that story about the guy with the bomb and how they had a plexiglass thing that they would write each step that they did. And if the bomb blew up, you know, it was over, right, for that guy. And they ran over and got that plexiglass to see how far and what his last step was to last thing he did. What Gloria Manfeld Banks is focus on the staircase and you miss all the steps. Yeah. Yeah. And then the other thing was the giving. This is what Pitbull said. And I have chills just thinking about it, but he said, giving back is an obligation. Money buys happiness by giving it away. And I was thinking about that because so many people, you know, you have to have purpose. I think it was Eric was talking about that. And once you get so much money, you know, there's only so many things that you can buy, right? And so that's when you can start building and helping people. But when he said, you know, giving back is an obligation, you can tell that he believed that very deeply. And and besides, his moves were fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's all I got to say.
Personal development. You know, even just going to GoPro isn't enough. You know, it's when you talk to Eric and Marina, and he normally shares this, and I can't remember if he shared it this year, but he normally shares what their budget is for personal development every single year. And for he and Marina, it's about $100,000 a year. That's what they spend on personal development. And so whether it was, you know, the hypnosis coach that he had on stage, whether it was the presentation coach, which Marina confided in me and said, you know, I have a coach that I work with to be able to speak better on stage. She's from the Ukraine. The English is her, I think, fourth language. And so, you know, every time she gets up there, I just go, bless her heart, because not only is she speaking to, you know, thousands of people, but she's speaking in English, which is, you know, you can see the translation a lot of times happening. And she said to me, she said, you know, I'm just really working on having fun, because I appear so stiff and so rigid and so, you know, so even the best, Gloria Mayfield Banks was sitting there recording Tiffany Malotte at the end when Tiffany Malotte did that analogy from the caterpillar to the butterfly. And 30 minutes, she had pretty much memorized that entire speech. And Gloria, and they're not in the same company, mind you, but Tiffany said, Gloria is my mentor. And, you know, Gloria sat there and recorded her the whole time and just beamed like a proud mother. But find somebody that you relate to, that you know, if you say, I want to be like that person. I want to have that kind of confidence. I want to have that kind of swagger up on stage. Find that person and watch videos and learn from them and emulate them and spend the money on personal development, because it will pay off. If your vision is such that you can't see $100,000 a year, $200,000 a year, get somebody and work on your vision, work on your limiting beliefs, because if you can't see it, you can't achieve it. You know, and Tom said earlier, and I'll wrap up real quick, but you know, about 15 years ago, we were down in Florida at our very first mastermind, and I was in awe. That was when we first met John Milton Fogg, and he was on stage, and I was in awe of all these speakers because it was my first industry event, and I did not think I can never be like them. I thought, what if? What if? And that's all you need, right? You just need to have that glimmer of hope and to know, what if I treated this, like Dee said, like it was $1 million paycheck at the end of the rainbow? What if I committed to play full out for the next 12 months? You know, and so put it on your calendar, expand your vision, be consistent. Be consistent every single day. Work it in 15-minute intervals. And if you have to bribe yourself, you know, I often bribe myself, not with food, but, you know, with something to go, okay, you know, after I do X amount of phone calls or whatever, then I'm going to go and, you know, read a magazine for 15 minutes, or I'm going to go walk around the block or whatever. But do it in 15-minute intervals. Be aware of your avoidance behaviors. That's so true. And you guys, events. If you can, like Steve said, you don't have to master all 7 skills. You don't have to master them. You can be decent in all of them except promoting events. Become a master at promoting events, because that is going to be your biggest bang for your buck, is in mastering events. So I love you guys. We did an hour. We could do 5 hours, I'm afraid. So does anybody else burning desire? If you do, like, wave your hand, like, oh, Pat? Does Pat have a burning desire? Is that a yes? Okay, unmute Pat. Anybody else burning desire? It takes a while to scroll.
I know.
Through all these, so.
Hold on here.
Do you see Pat? Wave your hand, Pat.
Yeah, I'm unmuted, Pat. Pat, you're unmuted.
Okay, there you go. You're unmuted, Pat.
Yes, and yeah, Ivan and I are driving on our way home.
Oh, nice. Ivan's great. We get 2 for 1. Awesome.
Hi, Ivan.
I hope we have a good connection. They just.
Uh-oh. Did we lose him? Oh, no. I can't.
Pat,
the one thing I heard, consistency, and every one of them said decision. I'm going to keep talking. I'm on 4G. I hope everybody's there.
No, I'm so sorry, but we're catching about every 5th word.
Tell you what, if you can hear me, cut me.
No, we cannot hear you.
I'm going to just go ahead and mute her.
So Pat, what we need for you to do is, if you want to type it out real quick, that would be great. And I'm so sorry we can't hear you, because I know you two, you and Ivan, were both so full of energy and enthusiasm, excitement.
How do I do this? I don't know. Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it.
Okay, I've muted them.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else?
I think we're good.
All right, you guys are gonna unmute.
I do want to tell you, Jan puts a few things up. I love you guys. Thank you for trusting us. Thank you for the camaraderie. I'm so grateful.
Aw.
I'm just so grateful for all of you, and I love you. And if you weren't able to make it this weekend, I know that you wanted to, and next time. But you know, Todd, I love you too, and this whole longevity team that we had there was just such rock stars, and you all. That's the other thing. I just wanted to tell you that how you showed up to this event made me so proud, because you were all there to do the thing that you were there to do, which is to be inspired and to learn and to team build and everything. And I didn't have one incidence of people, you know, of somebody like partying into the night and, you know, having to, you know, and you guys, all of you, you just showed up as such professionals. And thank you for that, because as a longevity team, as representatives of longevity, that's so important. And, oh, thank you, Mary. And, you know, I love you all. Have a wonderful and amazing Thanksgiving with your friends and family. And just have, I think the one thing that I wish for you is to establish a gratitude practice every day. Because I think that that's the one thing that has really shifted my life over the last few years. Is just, I'm just so, so grateful. So happy Thanksgiving. I love you guys. I love all of you so much. Thank you for being on here. And we will see you after Thanksgiving, and have a wonderful eat to your heart's content. That's what I say on Thanksgiving. Just eat up.
Eat it all. All right, you guys. We love you guys. Woo!
Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you guys.
Thank you, Denise, Marianne, everyone, Adrian.
Long night.
Bye. God bless.
Good night.
Happy Turkey Day. Gobble, gobble, gobble.
Gobble, gobble.
Bye. Happy Thanksgiving.